welcome back to a new vlog, and this time it's going to be all about manga. Like I was saying, this vlog is going to be dedicated to manga because it's a style, I don't know if it's a genre. It's a type of book that I haven't read too much of and that I really want to delve deeper into this world. So I have quite a few to get to. I have read before volume 1 and I believe volume 2 of Death Note, but because it was so many years ago, I don't really remember them all that well, and so I want to reread these and continue on with the series. I have also read and filmed, so you already kind of know this, that I have read up to volume 3 of Sailor Moon, the new editions, but that story was not really vibing with me, so that is not a series that I'm planning to continue on. I have read once again, up to volume 3 of The Girl from the Other Side, and this series I'm really enjoying, so I'm definitely going to continue on with that one. And then we have the ones that I have never read, but I've heard incredible reviews. So I Hear the Sunspot is about, I don't know if they get together, if they start up a relationship, a romantic relationship, or if it's a friendship. But we have these two boys and one of them is deaf, I believe, and starting in a new school. And the other one kind of begins their relationship and they support each other and they become friends and all of that. So I don't know that much more about the story. Then I have Spy Family, which has been going around and has me really excited because people have been raving about it. And here we have a spy, an assassin, and a telepath, and these people have a mission. So our spy is kind of trying to infiltrate a school, I think, but in order to do that he kind of needs a way in, and the way to do that is to fabricate this family, and all of them, I guess, have ulterior motives to do this. I'm hoping that this will be funny, not only compelling to read and captivating, but funny. And finally, we have Fruits Basket. This is a collector's edition, so I am guessing that I'll have at least 2 books worth, like the equivalent of 2 volumes of these in this book. And here we have our main character, Toru Honda, I think, and she's going through a difficult time in her life. I think she lost her family, and so she is living on a tent, I think. But then this family kind of brings her into their midst, I think, and help her. But I've heard that this is very like tugging on your heartstrings, very emotional story. So I don't know if this will be cute and cry-worthy or if this will just be traumatic and difficult, because these illustrations look very cutesy and, like, you know what I mean? These illustrations look very cutesy, and so I don't know how this will be cry-worthy, but every review I've heard is that this is very emotional. I don't know where I will start, but whenever you see this, you will know. So let's get to the next clip. So here I am, and I have some reading updates. I decided to start with the one that I was most familiar with and that I was just really excited to get back into. So this is volume 4 and 5 of The Girl from the Other Side. I already finished this one last night, and I'm just enjoying how this story is progressing so much. I would say the first 2 volumes were a little slow. I mean, the whole story overall is very slow paced, but at the same time it's so character based and character focused that we are still like just dipping our toes in this world and just beginning to understand how everything came to be and what is actually going on. I mean, I think there are 11 or 12 volumes out. I don't know if that's the end of the series, but assuming that this is like kind of the halfway point or a third of the way into the series, this is still very mysterious. So if you want something slow paced and just very much vibes, this is it. I would say this is perfect for Halloween if you want like a moody kind of story and world, but not like scary. This is very much a possibility for you. I love this. We have this relationship between our two main characters that it's very much father-daughter vibes, and I'm just enjoying navigating that and seeing this little girl Shiva grow up and going through life and just experiencing different things and dealing with them is so fascinating and so interesting, especially volume 5. I think I've already mentioned this a couple times before, but just to recap this is a story of two characters. We have the teacher, who is this creature, and we have Shiva, who is a little girl. And the teacher has been cursed. That's why he looks the way he looks. Supposedly he used to look like a man before, but there is this curse going around. So we have the people on the inside who are everyday humans who feel safe and who are okay with a curse, like nothing has happened to them, they were not infected. And we have people from the outside, which is where our two main characters live, and the little girl is just a mystery because she has been in contact with cursed beings and she has not started to like become monstrous, let's put it like that. Like she still looks like a little human girl, and that's very mysterious. We're not really sure, like we know that she's special in some way, but we don't really know why or what's her story and her origin tale. But we have these two characters and they are just in a way navigating life. So we have the teacher kind of bringing her up and raising her, and we're just following along, seeing their interactions and just trying to unravel the mystery of this world. I just finished this and this is the perfect point to stop in the story. I don't have any more volumes with me, so even if I wanted to, I couldn't actually continue on with the story. But volume 5 is the perfect stopping point because we're entering like a new phase of this story. I absolutely loved volume 5. We get so much more information in this one, and I'm concerned where this is going because I already love these characters, so potential harm coming their way does not make me happy, but I'm just really loving this story. Let's get on to the next story. After finishing The Girl from the Other Side, I decided to pick up volume 1 of Fruits Basket, and I am not that far into it, but already I can see that this is a slower paced story, and so far we have been introduced to our main characters, I believe. From the pictures at the beginning, I am expecting there to be a lot more characters than we know so far, but I do appreciate being eased into the story. This reminds me, at least the beginning, and especially our main character, Toro, she reminds me a little bit of Sailor Moon in the sense that she is like girly and a little bit like, it's not that she's scatterbrained because she has a ton on her plate and she is stepping up to the plate, so she is not as scatterbrained as Sailor Moon, but she is, I think she pretends to be a little bit like Sailor Moon. I think we're going to see very quickly that there's more to her than that, and especially the backstory that we are learning. It feels like she's going to have more depth to her character. From reading the blurb, you know that the people that she meets in the very beginning, this family that offers to take her in, they have a secret that whenever they are embraced by the opposite sex, they turn into the animals of the Chinese zodiac. I haven't seen that yet happening, and I don't really know like the backstory of that and the legend behind that, but I am enjoying seeing those characters just making snarky comments and alluding to that, even though we haven't seen them transform yet. But I think that'll be funny. And so far this reminds me so much, I have never seen the anime for this, but this reminds me so much of the vibe of so many animes that I watched when I was a kid, and it's so nostalgic in the best way. This is much more what I was expecting Sailor Moon to give me when I reread it this time around, and unfortunately that was not the case. But this kind of insta love and this immediate relationship and infatuation going on, it's just cute. I'm enjoying it. So I'll keep on reading it, and I'll probably update once I have read at least like half the book. So I have quite a few things to update you on. The last time we spoke, I was at the very beginning of Fruits Basket Volume 1, and now I have finished it, and this was so cute. I enjoyed this so much. I already bought Volume 2. Our main character, she is so over the top optimistic that is just a joy to watch. The way that she can turn every situation into a positive lesson is just so heartwarming, and I am loving the relationships that we get to see here. We have, apart from our main female character, I forget their names, I am so sorry, I'm terrible with names. We have Toto, who is our main female protagonist, and then we have 3 other main characters and 3 other male main characters. 2 of them are these boys, and I love their relationship because they are building the most wholesome friendship. I can see it going someplace else, but right now it's a friendship, and it's beautiful to watch. They are so adorable. It's almost like the relationship in Clockwork Angel, or the Infernal Devices series, between Tessa, Jem, and Will, but without the drama yet, and apart from the rivalry between these 2 boys, because they are kind of mortal enemies a little bit, but they're always around each other, so it's almost like they cannot live apart, but they don't really like each other. You have to read to know, but oh my god, this was a joy. I enjoyed this so much. And even though this has a little bit of a mystery, we have some characters that are just mentioned but who we haven't met yet, and the whole thing of them being these Chinese zodiac embodiments in people, it's still something that we don't really understand. We accept it for what it is. Oh, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. If you notice any changes, it's because my battery died. I had to charge it, and now we're back. But as I was saying, this book is, I would guess, almost 2 volumes combined. So that is the amount that I am planning to read for each series that I pick up for this video. So the first one was The Girl from the Other Side. I read 2 volumes of that. I read the equivalent of 2 novels, but the first volume of Fruits Basket. And now I have read 2 more. I have read I Hear the Sunspot, the first ever volume, and I Hear the Sunspot Theory of Happiness. I read those as ebooks. I'll put up pictures of both of those, and I'm just so happy that this experiment is going so well, because after rereading Sailor Moon, I was a bit scared that I was just not really vibing with manga anymore, but I'm so glad that that is not the case and that I'm finding so many good books to read. So I Hear the Sunspot is kind of a romance, but very like slow burn and not very full on. in terms of romance, but we follow our two main characters. One of them is very outgoing, very loud, very sociable, I would say. And then our other main character, both of them are boys, by the way, and our other main character is more closed off. He's a little shy, but that is also due to the fact that he is hard of hearing, so he has a hearing disability. And we see them come together because the loud, outgoing one is kind of helping the shyer character. I forget their name, that's why I'm describing them like this, but the outgoing one helps the shy one taking notes. Because of his hearing disability, it's a little bit difficult for him to understand everything that's going on. Even though he uses hearing aids, he still has some difficulty in classes and everything. They go to school together, forgot to mention that. And so that's the beginning of their relationship, of their friendship. And the way that they kind of strike up a conversation the first time is that they share lunch, because it's very random, but it's very funny. Right from the beginning, you can tell that they are very different from one another, completely, like different personalities, different ways of living, and it's just so much fun seeing them come together. And eventually their friendship kind of turns into something. If you do not enjoy miscommunication, this will make you climb up the walls, because it is so full of miscommunication. Like, if these two boys or these two people were honest with each other and they just talked a little bit, you don't even have to talk a lot, it's just if they talked a little bit, everything would be clearer for them and for us. It's also a little bit slice of life, because there's nothing majorly dramatic happening. We just follow these characters as they are getting to know each other. Theory of Happiness continues on from the first one. This one is very interesting because it discusses the hearing disability much more, and how these characters, one of them lives with this reality and the other one is trying, because of his relationship, kind of wants to make the world better for the other person, and so he just sees the world differently and wants to make that a reality. And that is a discussion that happens a lot more thoroughly in this book, and I really enjoy that aspect. In terms of their relationship, this felt a little bit more redundant, because it felt more of the same. I don't know if this is a thing, like a cultural thing, of them having difficulty coming to terms with their own sexuality and all of that, or if it's just a thing of their relationship, that they are constantly misleading one another. Like, I want to kiss you, but like, we don't follow up on that, we don't comment, we don't talk about it, we don't do that, and then they just don't talk for like half a year, and that's okay. I don't know, it's a little weird. It's a little that part of the story is the thing that I enjoy the least, because I love nothing more than healthy relationships, and I love seeing healthy relationships explored in books. And so having them constantly be at odds with each other because they just don't talk really annoys me. The story itself is cute and I enjoy these characters, but the second volume, I have to say, it's a little bit more frustrating. But all in all, I really enjoyed the vibes of this book and how cozy this felt. So if you want to get into manga but you don't want the commitment of a 10-book, 12-book series, I think this is the place to start. And now we're on to Death Note. I have read this very long time ago. I think maybe 2014 perhaps, 2015, I'm not sure, but sometime around that time I read this. I remember really enjoying the first volume, and I don't remember if I read the second volume or not in its entirety, but I do have it. And this is going to be a little bit of an exception because I have 3 volumes of this one already, so I'm going to read all 3 of those and then I'll catch you up on my reading. I finished reading and rereading Death Note, at least up until volume 3. I wasn't sure if I had read up to volume 2, but having reread them, I definitely had read these 2 books before. I just never continue on with the series, but I had volume 3, so I read all of these. And Death Note, I feel, is very well known, so it's very likely that you know the story of this manga, but I will explain it briefly. So we have our main character. He is a high school student in his last year of high school, and one day he stumbles upon a notebook. And this notebook has some instructions inside that kind of say that if you write a person's name inside with them in mind, they will die. And a lot of other instructions, but essentially that is a death note. And that notebook belongs to a god of death that lost it, essentially. And so we have this human playing at being God. And this whole series, from what I have seen so far, is this game of cat and mouse and this chase, because we have our main character who is essentially, he has this illusion that he's making the world a better place because he is deciding to kill off criminals and bad guys. And then we have the police actively trying to figure out who he is, actively trying to stop him. And to do that, they have the help of someone very unorthodox that in some ways is very similar to our main character. So it's almost like this duel between these 2 very strong characters. And this has been very fun. This is extremely fast-paced. If you want something that is action-packed and that always keeps you at the edge of your seat, that always wants to make you pick up the next one, this is definitely one to read. With all of them, I read them in one sitting, not all back to back, but when I sat down to read one of them, I read them all the way through. So I am enjoying them very, very much. I will definitely be picking up the other volumes, slowly but surely making my way through all of these, and I highly recommend it. And now, the last one that I have to read for this video is Spy Family, because everybody is talking about it, so I am so excited to pick this up. I finally read Spy Family, and I love it when this happens and when everybody is right, because this is adorable. I love this so much. I think I mentioned before during this vlog that I would be reading at least 2 volumes for every single series that I picked up for this video, and that was the case with this one. I only have volume 1 physically, so I read volume 2 as an ebook. But this series has so much potential to become a new favorite. I enjoyed this so much. We have our 3 main characters. I forget their names, obviously. We have Twilight, who is a spy. We have Anya, who is a little girl and also a telepath. And then we have, I think, Yor, it's her name, and she is an assassin. And the 3 of them kind of make up this pretend family, because our spy, I should say, has this mission to infiltrate this school because he needs to get to a certain person, and the way to get to him is through his kid, and his kid goes to a certain school, so that's the vibe. He has to infiltrate this school to get to the kid, to get to the father, and in order to do that, he has to create this pretend family for himself. But this is so adorable. These characters are so much fun. And the fact that the little girl is a telepath, so she knows what her pretend parents really are. She knows that one of them is a spy and the other one is actually an assassin, is hilarious to begin with. And then the fact that both Yor and Twilight are just going around each other, obviously and naturally understanding that some things don't add up, because it's not an everyday average person who just does a high kick and knows how to handle weapons and how to jump from buildings and land like okay and alive and all of that, but they are able to do that. So there are certain scenes where they become suspicious and they're like, something doesn't quite add up, but they just roll with it because it is convenient for them and their missions and their ulterior motives. But this is so much fun. I love the first volume. The second volume is more of the same, but in the best way possible, and I'm hoping that we continue following this train of thought for the whole series, but just expanding and getting to know these characters more, because this is incredibly entertaining. I absolutely love this and I highly recommend it. I cannot wait, and because this is so popular right now, a lot of people are picking it up, so a lot of the volumes are out of stock. So I have some ebooks available, and if I'm really in the mood, I'll definitely read them, but I'm hoping to collect these physically because it's such an incredible series that I really want to own them and just have it on my bookshelves. And with that, let's just do a wrap up. Let me order these in terms of my enjoyment. I would say for me right now, the order is this one. So at the bottom we have Death Note, and I really enjoy Death Note, don't get me wrong. It's just that it's a very thriller-esque story, very on the edge of your seat, and we have this mystery and this confrontation and all of this very fast-paced action. And even though we are developing the characters very well and I'm enjoying it a lot, it's still not my favorite type of story. So that's the only reason why it is at the bottom, because I absolutely enjoyed this one and I will be continuing on with the series. Next up we have The Girl from the Other Side, and once again I absolutely love this one. It's just that comparing everything, this is just where it falls. Then we have Fruits Basket, which I think it has the most potential to like rise up in the ranks, because I can see a lot of ideas just beginning to grow here, and from what I've read from the reviews and all of that, I think this one has a ton of potential for me to like bump it up and become a new favorite. But so far from what I've read, this is where it stands. And Spy Family was immediately a favorite and immediately a good time and everything I wanted from it. So obviously it is at the top. I Hear the Sunspot, I would say at the most bottom of this pile, simply because I read the first 2 volumes and I felt like I enjoyed the story, but already with 2 volumes it was a little repetitive, and there were some elements of the story that I kind of, it's not that I took an issue with, but they became tiresome after a little bit, and so I don't know how that story will progress either. But from everything that I've read, that one was the one that, with my first impression, I really enjoyed it. But with the second volume, I didn't get that much new information like I wanted, so, and that much development. So for that reason, I would put I Hear the Sunspot at the bottom, then Death Note, then The Girl from the Other Side, Fruits Basket, and Spy Family at the top. And that's it. I absolutely loved doing this experiment. It was a joy, and I really needed this bump in my reading to know that I enjoy manga, and these are just incredible stories and quick reads as well. So knowing that I enjoyed this medium is really like makes me happy, because now I have a whole new world and kind of a new medium or genre, or however you want to put it, to discover and to delve deeper into. So if you have any manga recommendation that you think I would enjoy, or that are classics that everybody should read, let me know in the comments down below. I absolutely loved making this video, reading all of these books. I hope you enjoyed watching this one as well. And that's it for today. I'll see you next time. Bye!